but also through mentorship and leadership, guiding aspiring athletes to reach their full potential. Now we are going to join our reporter. We are going now to join government spokesman Gabriel Gavuma to just talk to us about this particular incident. We're joining him on phone. Good morning to you, trusting that you can hear me.
Good morning. I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, so perhaps, Gabriel, you can just take us through the accident that happened last night. Was it visual? Was it the problem of the roads? What really caused this accident, or are investigations still ongoing?
Thank you for having me this morning via the phone. As we know right now, the details are still scanty. Investigations are going on. So I think we're just going to be patient and get to hear what comes from the police who visited the scene. And I'm sure they are collecting all the details that need to be collected so that they can actually make it available to Kenyans so that we can understand what actually did happen. But as far as we are told, it was a solo accident. It appears from the initial report like there was a loss of control, or they lost control of the vehicle, and that's all we know at this point. But more than that, actually, is to really condone with the family and the entire athletic fraternity. Kenya indeed has lost a champion. It's really sad as it is morose, and I can imagine what his family and friends are feeling at this point.
All right, Gabriel, of course, this is not the first time that we are losing an athlete to accident. Perhaps you can talk us through what really causes it. What is the problem? Where are we going wrong?
Well, we remember that one of the other marathoner, Samuel Njuro, it was, who also, lost his life through another accident. Even though the reports that were coming, many people still cannot shine that reality, because he was also quite a budding and a very young athlete who had really put this country in very good light globally. Same thing, we can't forget about Agnes Tirop. That was something else which happened, even though that matter is still being handled by police. Now we have this one of Kevin, and I know there have been others that have happened, even though deaths were not reported. But I think we cannot really just put a finger and generalize that there's anything that needs to be done apart from people being careful, people being watchful, and just the general aura of taking care of oneself.
All right. Now, of course, he was widely believed to be a successor of world marathoner Eliud Kipchoge. Do you think we'll ever get close to having such as Kelvin?
Kevin came very close, just like you actually elaborated. It was just, I think, a few weeks ago where we had in Chicago marathon win ratified by World Athletics. And so that's why it's actually becoming in the backdrop so painful, because we really as a country were looking for it, and the world at large, we were looking for somebody really who could have gone head to head with some of the world records that have existed. Kevin actually really brought it so down, and it was actually being rumored that he was really looking forward to do a sub-2 in the Rotterdam Marathon, which is taking place in April. So, like you've just said, death has denied us the opportunity of living through and witnessing the writing of a legend. Really, very few people get to see what somebody of that who possessed that kind of athletic magnitude would have delivered. So it is a sad moment for this country. And given the fact that Kevin was such a young person, he had an entire life ahead of him. And who knows, probably would have seen him breaking several other records in the sub too.
All right, and perhaps before letting you go, what will traditionally happen in such circumstances? What next? All right.
Well, the truth of the matter is we only got to hear about the tragedy a few hours ago. So I think right now, as you can tell, the athletic fraternity, obviously the police who are at the scene where the accident happened, you can already see condolences and information trickling in from the World Athletics and other global bodies. You're talking about the sponsors. You're talking about the marathons that he was supposed to run, the one that I've just mentioned in Rotterdam and the upcoming Olympics in Paris. So I think it's just really a huge ecosystem to really put our hands into. And I can probably see where, we can all understand the element of confusion at this point. So I think what many people would suggest, myself included, is for now to just give everything time and we see where all the pieces are going to fit.
All right. Thank you so much, Gabriel. That is Deputy Government Spokesperson, for linking up with us. And of course, let me just take you back to the OB number that was reported by police last night, OB number 19. That is on 11th of February 2024. It says that the accident occurred at about 11 at Kaptagat Forest area along Eldoret Ravine Road. It happened that one Kelvin Kiptum, the Chicago Marathon world record holder, was driving his vehicle registration number KDL 566F, that is Toyota Premio, carrying two passengers, namely Garvis Hakizamana, Rwanda, male adult, aged 37, and a female, Sharon Chepkurui Koskei, adult, aged 24, from Eldoret, and they were heading towards Ravine. Upon reaching the location of the accident, he lost control and veered off the road, entering into a ditch on his left side. He drove in the ditch for about 60 meters before hitting a big tree. As a result, Kelvin Kiptum and Galvaris Hazkamana died on the spot, whereas Sharon Chepkurui Koskei escaped with serious injuries and was rushed to Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital for treatment. Of course, now the two bodies of the late were moved to Rescourse Hospital mortuary in Eldoret, and they are awaiting the autopsy. And the scene visited, and the vehicle was extremely damaged. And of course, that was just that was the report that got from the Kaptagat police station. Of course, his coach, that is Hakizamana, age 36, was a former professional athlete from Rwanda who participated in different races from 5,000 meters to half marathon. As we all know, Kiptum's world record hit 2 hours 35 seconds that was set in Chicago Marathon in October last year, and he improved his personal best time by 50 seconds to beat by 2 hours 1 minute and 9 seconds record set by Kenyan Eliud Kipchoge. And of course, Kelvin was widely considered as the greatest, was considered to be a successor of marathoner, that is Eliud Kipchoge. Of course, we're also going to be going through some tributes, from international tributes from the sports fraternity. Just one of them is from the World Athletes President, Sebastian Coe, who said that we are shocked and deeply saddened to learn of the devastating loss of Kelvin Kiptum and his coach. On behalf of the world athletes, we send our deepest condolences to their families, friends, teammates, and the Kenyan nation. Of course, we are going to be going through some of them and we're going to be bringing some of these reports to you. But before we take a short commercial break, I understand that we are joined by a sports reporter, that is Jeff Mugire. Jeff, if you can hear me, take us through what this loss means to Kenyans at large and the athletes nation.
Well, Grace, is a very sad Monday. I call it a Black Monday because we never expected such a thing to happen at this time. And it happened at the time when Kenyans were watching AFCON and everybody was so high with the spirits of Ivory Coast and Nigeria. And all of a sudden, while we were celebrating the team of Ivory Coast winning the AFCON for the third time, and then a report comes in at around 12 that there's news that Kelvin Kiptum, the world record holder, whose record was ratified just a few days ago, is dead at 24. It was a shocker, and we were all running up and down trying to grab some news. What is happening? What do we tell people? How do we break that news? By the way, KTN, Standard Media Group, was the first one with that first-hand information. And then a police commander from the area confirmed that, yes, indeed, Kelvin Kiptum was in a car with two others, with a coach, Gaviz Hakizamana, and the lady by the name Chipkusgay, who was injured in that accident. And then Kelvin and his coach from Rwanda died on the spot. The bodies were moved to a hospital awaiting autopsy, but Kelvin Kiptum had already shown the world what he can do. Kelvin took part in very many marathons. Like, he was expected to be part of the Rotterdam Marathon in Netherlands, but now he won't be featuring in that marathon because he was expecting probably to lower his record even more at Rotterdam Marathon, but he won't be there. And so much information coming in on social media, but we don't really follow that. What happened? Kelvin Kiptum, just to give you a brief, he came from nowhere. When Kipchoge was rocking the world, Kelvin Kiptum came from nowhere. He won the London Marathon where Kipchoge was participating. He won the Chicago Marathon where he broke the record. He was also a winner in the Rotterdam Marathon, which he has participated in several occasions. And you realize the power the young man at 24 years he had, and the future was looking so bright, only to be taken away when he was just going to give us a showdown, which we're all waiting for at the Olympics in Paris, because we're expecting Eliud Kipchoge versus Kelvin Kiptum, who is the real GOAT and who is not. But now it's not going to happen because Kelvin Kiptum has died. He's among the young athletes who have died in Kenya. After Samuel Wanjiru died at the age of 24, Kelvin Kiptum died at the age of 24. It's an accident which has happened, and he has robbed the country one of the brightest, the best athletes, the future holders of this country in terms of athletics when we talk about the marathon. And it's a very sad day for Kenyans who are really hoping to see the two participate in major events. It's not going to happen because Kiptum is dead, Kiptum is gone, and we're looking forward to see what happens now. How do we move on from this as a country? Because the family right now, I tend to understand what they go through, because they don't have been words to explain. How do they explain that their own son has gone to be with the Lord, probably? And how do they explain that they might not see Kiptum run again? Of course, they will not see him, but how do they explain that? They are yet to come into terms with what happened. Even many Kenyans are waking up to this information and this news that Kiptum is no more. It's a very devastating day, and a time like now, when athletics and sport is what gives us motivation to continue following, to continue being happy as Kenyans, and now you're being robbed, the very thing that makes us happy, Grace.
Before letting you go, Kelvin was very promising, right? So do we see, maybe, was anyone coming close to him in regards of, his passion, his drive, and his dedication?
Kelvin Kiptum came from nowhere. Nobody saw Kelvin Kiptum coming. He was participating in events and he was never featured. Nobody even knew Kelvin Kiptum. He came to the stage, rocked it, and at the end of the day, he was a star. It took us time to understand that Kelvin Kiptum was the real heir of Eliud Kipchoge. And it will take us another time, a very long time, to know who is the next heir, because we don't really know. When these athletes come up, like, we were looking at Kelvin Kiptum, like, if Kipchoge leaves the stage, their marathon record remains in Kenya. Of course it does. It is still. But now, after Kipchoge, who else? We don't know. After Kiptum, who else? We don't know, because these athletes train in the other side of the country. They don't want people to know about the information, what they're doing, and then boom, they show up. After showing up, they do their thing, and then we are here sharing them. But we have no idea what the future of marathon looks like. But we have young people who are training right now, working hard right now, somewhere in Kaptagat, somewhere in Iten, somewhere across the country. They're working hard to ensure that they can take the mantle from where Kiptum has left it. Probably. And Neya for Kipchoge will be born again. Another one will come up who will take the mantle from Kipchoge when Kipchoge retires. But for now, we still look at Kipchoge as one of the men who stands out. But even as Kiptum leaves the stage, very young, so promising, but he never lived his dream, according to me. I think like he has so much to offer this country, he has so much to offer to the athletics world, but he never lived that dream. But his legacy, what he has done, as young as he is, lives on. We remember Kiptum for that. We remember him for what he did, just like we remember Samuel Wanjiru for his performance and his records. We will remember Kiptum for what he has done for this country. He has done us proud. He has done athletics world so proud. So we're looking forward to another Kiptum, probably in the next 5 years, because we never see them coming anyway.
All right, Jeff, you had also said that he was scheduled for a marathon later on this year. Perhaps now, does it mean that Kenya has to fill in with somebody else, or that slot,
Yes, he was supposed to take part in the Rotterdam Marathon in Netherlands. The Dutch were waiting for him for a great showdown. There's a lot of money for his appearance alone. People coming to see Kelvin Kiptum, the world record holder, the new world record holder. That's a lot of money. And when you put a lot of money in such an event and you expect somebody to show up and he doesn't show up, then they will have not to look for other options. Will they request Kipchoge to take part in that? But Kelvin Kiptum was going to take it down with a Belgian, an Ethiopian born, but now a Belgian marathon participant as well. But now it's going to be a one-man show anyway. But there were Kenyans as well who were shortlisted to be part of that, and we are yet to get the list of those athletes, because April 14th is very far, so the list will get out by probably mid-March to know who exactly is leaving this country for that. But we were very sure with Kelvin Kiptum, we are very sure that he was going to maintain his record. We are very sure that he was going for a course record of that Rotterdam Marathon anyway.
All right. Thank you so much, Jeff, for that detailed report. Jeff Mugere there, our sports anchor and reporter here at the Standard Group, of course, shedding some light on the life of Kelvin Kiptum. And with that, we're going to take a very short commercial